Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, and every Wednesday evening we're here to talk about life in Rhode Island. And some of them have been, impacted by the COVID. Some haven't, but we're here tonight to talk about a very special time of the year as we remember and honor the men and women who are active duty that are currently serving to protect our freedoms. And at the moment, with the activation of the National Guard, close to 500 have been out doing some remarkable work, keeping us healthy during the pandemic. So before we start and shift there, I do want to continue to talk about some of the, remind people of some of the things that are going on in terms of small businesses, the Restore Rhode Island grant program. We want to encourage every small business in the state of Rhode Island who has 50 or less employees to apply for the Restore Rhode Island grant. We need to get the monies out to our small businesses, and we've been able to, work to get $50 million. Right now, there's $37 million still available for the businesses. I was in Gloucester today talking to several businesses, helping coach them through the application process. Our office is ready, willing, and able to do that for any small business in the state. And we know how important those small businesses are. So let's make sure we shop local during our holidays. And I also want to just, as I've been talking about on all the broadcasts about education, public education, we really need to really pay attention to making sure that our schools open up safely, but also understanding that regardless of you coming from a high income, low income, moderate income, whether you're a minority family, non-minority family, going to a public school, a private school, a charter school, a mayoral academy, a homeschool. There's a lot of lost hours of learning that's going to go from the March when we closed down the schools, went virtual, right through this year. And we got to think about how we're going to deal with that. I'm just certainly throwing out the idea, and willing to listen to anybody's ideas. But let's get a number of municipal education departments open, like I did in Cumberland. Thousands and thousands of visits over the last 13, 14 years, helping kids how to read, do math, art, music, science, leadership, theater, very academic dealings, 52 weeks out of the year. That's the only way we're going to catch up. We got to find these other areas. We can't expect the public schools, with everything that's on their plate and all the challenges that they have in the reopening, and with their teachers and administrators and students and parents, and vendors and others that are directly related to our schools, to kind of figure out how they're going to get time to pick up these hundreds of hours of lost learning time. So if you have a good idea about the education piece, give our office a call, 222-2371. If you want to weigh in on the small business issues that we're working on, give us a call as well. And if you have any other issues out there that are important and relevant, then we want to listen, and our office is answering the calls, and we want to make sure that we respond. Tonight, we're going to talk about Operation Holiday Cheer. It's an effort that I inherited from former Lieutenant Governor, started by Lieutenant Governor Charles Fogarty. And we're going to talk about two parts of that, because we're kind of improvising this year for many reasons, the COVID, and we've had, hundreds of people volunteer in the past, and we're not going to bring them all together. So we have a plan that one of our Blue Star moms, who was president of the Rhode Island Blue Star Moms, is going to be on, Jen Aarons, and as well as, which is another piece that we're doing, which is this one right here. You can read it. It's a reminder to make sure we're wearing our masks, a reminder that, if we go anywhere and people aren't wearing their masks, wish them a good day, but get out of there, because these masks are going to help keep us safe, and it's going to save lives, and it's going to save families from having to go through some real heavy sickness. So, but if you can read closely, one of our friends that helped help us set up the Coalition of Small Businesses made this out before we had the press conference the other day, and it says Rhode Island Military Family Relief Fund. And we're going to talk about what that is, and we're going to give you an opportunity to support the families that serve as well, of the families of our men and women who currently are in service, that are active, and how it is impacting the ability of some families to actually pay their household bills. And this has been around since 2004 as well. So we're going to get into deep depth with that. Oh yeah, Justin, thank you, Justin. It was a nice mask you did right there. And another way that we can kind of support our veterans is support our small businesses, especially many of our small businesses have veterans that are the owners of our small business. Many of them are active duty in our National Guard. So, yeah, thanks, Justin, for that. So right now we have a goal to get up to $10,000 before the night's over, and we're going to be posting up ways that you can go online and make those donations. We had several $1,000s that were donated today, but our goal is to get over 10, and maybe by the time this call is over, we'll have some get towards $15,000 of our $50,000 goal. So, Ben, could you bring Jen on, and Christine, if she is in the system? Welcome, Jen. Oh, you got the Rhode Island Blue Star moms there, Jen.
We got it.
So it's looking great, and it looks like we have Christina on the audio right now, but not the video. So that's great. So what I kind of set it up that we have this Operation Holiday Cheer every year since Lieutenant Governor Fogarty started implementing it back in 2004 area.
Yep.
And I thought we could just quickly talk about what that is, and then we'll get to the Military Relief Fund and give people enough information so that they can support both of us this year. So, Jen, you are a Rhode Island's Blue Star Moms. You're the president of the association.
Yep.
And so, tell us a little bit about what that is all about, the Blue Star Moms organization, but also tell us how that gets involved and supports the Operation Holiday Cheer every year.
Well, we were started off by some Rhode Island Guard moms, who we lovingly refer to as the originals. Their kids were the first ones that went over to the Middle East way back in the day, post 9/11, and it wasn't a good time. They reached out to each other and formed this support group. That support group was the bind that got them all through that very difficult time.
Yes.
That has grown. We are a veteran service organization, congressionally chartered. We do a lot of veterans events. We volunteer with veterans for veterans, and we raise money every year to send care packages to our kids, grown adults, but our kids.
Yeah.
And through Holiday Cheer, we are allowed this major gift of working with the public and allowing them into what is very much private in our lives. Because we can't talk about what our kids do. We don't talk about where they are. So the fact that we then allow them in to show their love and support during this big thing that happens at the Warwick Armory is a really big deal to us. And it really warms our hearts and gives you that little inside hug that you need, especially during the holidays. And when the holidays are coming, a lot of us moms get a little down because we know they're not going to be home. Half of them are in very tricky situations. So the worry guard is always high. So when Holiday Cheer rolls around and it looks silly to other people to see little kid cards from the elementary school kids, or to see us putting candy in stockings, but to us, it means the world. It really
does. And you can tell that. I mean, you've described the life that you're living, with family members, sons and daughters in particular, serving our country, and many times outside the state, in many ways outside the state. And so, it makes a big difference. And I can see where that Operation Holiday Cheer, the first time I experienced that was about 6 years ago. And I think we have some pictures there, of the efforts that are there. I don't know whether we'll get one of the activity that you're involved with, stuff in the stockings, but give us, the sense of, what that means to the moms, the Blue Star moms, when they see so many hundreds of people, converging to put these packages together to remind, your sons and daughters that Rhode Island is thinking of them.
Well, there's a few different things that happen. One is just the pure love from the public. We often see the press focus on all of the negative in the world, especially with the military. And for us to see the public do nothing but show our kids and our family members love and respect and appreciation is very overwhelming in all the good ways. to see them in person wanting so badly to help us fill the boxes means a lot. To see.
Describe the picture that's on there right now, Jen, and the, the members of your group and what you're doing there, because it's a lot of fun.
I know, and that looks so small. That for most people, that looks like a lot of candy. That's maybe a third the size of the mountain of candy. We throw it all on the table, we swim in it, we mix it up like a giant salad, and we start stuffing the stockings. And each stocking then goes in each care package. And it's just one of those things, in the earlier days, they actually handed out the candy to local Middle Eastern children to win favor with the locals. But it also served a serious function in that they would take handfuls of the hard candy and throw them from their vehicles in convoys to get the children out of the road so that the children wouldn't be harmed in any way. But also you have to remember in those early days, not to be grim, but some of the people were strapped with bombs.
Yes.
So to clear the road was a very big deal. So what seems like this little ridiculous thing like candy, in a lot of instances, is still really important. And while the bulk of our troops right now are safe on bases, there are still quite a lot that are in tiny villages. And when we say base camps, we're talking like not even tents. We're talking like bare minimum. They are very much in danger zones. We plan to pack every box like it's for that person who's still stuck in the desert or in the mountains. We don't plan it for the kids that are, I keep calling them kids, I know they're grown.
Well, my wife Susan and I refer to our kids as well.
I know, I'll be 85 and he'll probably still have AARP and I'll just still be calling him my kid.
Yeah, there's Lieutenant Governor Charlie Fogarty. I invited him last year so he could see that the tradition he started was kept alive.
Still keeping and going.
Yeah, so I think that, and you get a little picture of how many hundreds of people that show up and show their love and their honor, for your sons and daughters.
Just
Jen.
a simple appreciation. You have no idea how far that goes.
Yeah, and you mentioned we have, and not this year, it's a little different, but down in North Kingstown, they have the high school and the different schools there come in with 700 Christmas cards and holiday cards that go into every package. And I know that one of the things that, whenever year we announce, and we usually announce in front of a pretty large group with all our sponsors, we always have one or two of the active duty give their feelings on when they receive the package, and it is very emotional.
Yeah.
But it's so important that somebody knows that that they know that people
impact.
Yes, that people really care about what they're doing, and you can see that in terms of, like you say, it's quite a that stocking issue is a tradition you have, and I'm glad you explained it the way you did, because there was a purpose to it. And there's also a purpose in terms of the fact that you're bringing in a number of families, and we're going to talk about that shortly, about the families that are left behind and serve in a very dramatic way. So you're bringing in many of the moms and their families in a way that they can kind of lean on each other, right? Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Because Sim Yarn loves to say that, our children signed up. They signed on the dotted line. We got drafted. And boy, did we get drafted.
Yes. And, clearly, I as a mayor, when I was a mayor for 12 years, we worked with our Veterans Council. We worked mainly with our, people from my town, Cumberland, that was impacted either through service or, as a veteran or in that extreme case through the, the Gold Star families, right? So, but on the state level now, I get to go to all these communities and see it more in a broader way with our National Guard. The families serve, and they are drafted in a way that, they don't have a choice in the matter, right? In a lot of ways. And
we're thrown into it. And right from jump, you pretty much have no idea
how
it's going to affect you.
Yeah. So Jen, thanks for that overview. We're going to get back to you about how I want you to jump in on this next level of the conversation too, but we're going to get back and let people know how they can help the Blue Star moms who are stepping up this year and taking on this, really a task where several hundred people and dozens of sponsors, with the Red Cross, with the post office, with our national grid, with the list goes on and on. Our poor socks, they're involved with us. The list is long, and we're hopefully going to shift them into another area as this as well. But I want to kind of give you the opportunity of letting everybody know how they can support this tradition that our office has been very proud to be able to kind of inherit, and to try to keep on improving and making sure that it stands the test of time, so it always gets handed on to the next lieutenant governor. So that's our goal here. So it's Christina. Christina, please introduce yourself. I think we're going to have not your picture, but we're going to get your voice. And you're very involved on the committee that has to do with which I showed the mask here before, which is the Rhode Island Military Relief Fund. So could you kind of give an overview, an introduction of that for us in the role that you play as a representative of the Adjutant General on that executive committee? And welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes, please.
Okay, good. We weren't sure how that was going to work out.
No, we
Thank
can hear you loud and
Lieutenant
clear.
Governor.
Yes.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about our Rhode Island Military Family Relief Fund. As you know, Lieutenant Governor Fogarty began it in 2004, and it really helps the families of our military in their times of crisis. When they have no place to reach out to financially, we are able to support them and allow them to get over the hump of whatever their crisis is at that time. We take in applications all year. We provide them with a financial assistance to meet their needs, whether it's the rent or fixing their car or helping with medical bills, an electric bill, anything that they need to help them and to relieve whatever stress they may be experiencing financially.
Yeah, and Christina,
we have seen.
And let me just, kind of, and the reason is, right, because when people are activated, whether it's National Guard or whether they're in service, many times they leave their job, their full-time job, and their incomes can be impacted, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes when they come back, their jobs just aren't available.
Yes.
They may have to be looking for a new job during that time.
So that impacts the ability of the households to keep their house, operating. Many have children, right? They certainly have the overhead of the mortgages or the rents or the car payments or the utility bills. Those don't go away. They still are there, and yet the income can be dramatically impacted to allow them to keep their household afloat.
Correct. And in their times of need, it's nice to be able to help our soldiers get over that hump.
Yeah. So share, I know that as you mentioned, and I have reached out to Charlie Fogarty yesterday. I expect that hopefully he's going to help us with a little video that kind of promote this effort right now to restore the funds, because last year I think it was close to $60,000 or more was distributed to help families that were back here serving in a way that Jen and I just talked about, but yet we're in need, right? I think it was close to $60,000, right?
Yes, correct. And the need does not seem to be going down. However, the funds are definitely going down, and we need to ask for everyone's help to restore those funds.
Yeah, and so we've got information on our website about how people can help restore those funds, and we're hopeful today that people who are watching this are sharing this out with their friends, this video, and also going to that site and making a donation to help us achieve our goal of raising $50,000. I think you see in the lower right-hand corner we had a goal to, as of end of the day, to be at 10,000. We're at 97.85. So
Wonderful.
donations can be made, and hopefully we get over that $10,000 figure while we're talking tonight. And Andrea is back, looking at that, because as soon as donations made online, then we can see that donation's made. And one of the things that we're doing, Christina, is to, as Veteran Day comes up, is to ask people to make a donation in the memory of a family member who is a veteran. And I have done that, and I know that Mark Haywood, who's on our small business calls, told us yesterday that he would be making a donation in the memory of his dad, who just passed away at about, I think, at 95 years old, who served in World War II. My dad served in World War II, at the tail end of World War II as well. I think I have a picture of him, Ben. Do you have that picture by any chance that Andrea might have showed of my dad back in the 1945 time frame? And if we do, put that up.
Oh, what
eventually.
a wonderful legacy that is, to be able to donate in someone's name.
Yes, Ben, do you have that? 1 second. Okay, yeah, we'll put it up when you can. Or if Andrea hasn't sent that to you, I'll send it to you now. But yes, we're asking people to make a donation in the memory of a memory, or even of a veteran who's currently living, that they want to make that donation to help a family out, because they were there at one time. All our veterans were there at one time. And also, some of our veterans can be helped by this fund, right, Christina? I think I read that.
Right. We have traditionally helped those that are serving currently.
Yes, that's correct. And it's up to about, I think it's a $5,000 threshold, that up to as much as $5,000 could be designated to a family in need. And tell us a little bit about the application process, about how that is very confidential, and explain how people who are out there, the families that are out there, might be able to access the application process.
Well, the Family Relief Fund is run out of the CRC, the Command Readiness Building in Cranston, across from the DMV. And that's where they can come in, or they can call Family Services and ask for assistance. They can work with one of the administrative people there and fill the application out. It is confidential. Once the application is received, it is sent out to the committee members to review and approve. And usually the turnaround is fairly quickly once we have all of the forms and documents.
Yeah, so I think that's very important, and many people, I know that the media who's been asked, wanted to cover this, they wanted to speak to the families, and we've said that no, the families are anonymous, and they're meant to be that way right from the very beginning. But we know that several hundred families have been helped since 2004, and I believe that close to $600,000 has been distributed to 300 families or more to help them, keep their households together while the men and women and their families serve our country and protect our freedoms. So that's a big number, and that's why we are continually. These are donations. Tax-deductible donations. Businesses can make those donations. We've had a few lead donations from the Rhode Island Manufacturers Association, and we had R&D Machine, I believe, and also Dave's Market. So businesses can make those contributions tax-deductible, and individuals can make those those contributions tax-deductible. I know that we've challenged some of the elected officials in the state of Rhode Island. And I know that, one of our congressmen has already made a donation. So I'll keep that anonymous at the moment, but I'll be calling him and thanking him for that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I think that we can rally around, the families right now. And we know that they serve. Oh, I think that maybe I got a photo coming up. Maybe. Oh, there's my dad. There's my dad. My mom's still living. My dad died at 62 in 1986, but he is still very much part of our family and in our day-to-day thinking. To just like you said, what a legacy. My dad served, in that 44, 45 time frame, just as the war was ending. But he certainly was there and didn't speak too much about it, to tell you the truth. My dad started the boys club in our town when he came back from the service, and started his family. And I got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and my mom, like I said, my mom's still living with my wife Susan and I now. So yeah, so we made a donation in the memory of my dad. So we encourage people to do the same. I know Mark Haywood's going to do it, and others will as well, I'm sure. So thanks, Ben. Thanks for putting that up there. I always like to get a plug in for my dad. We always love our moms and dads, right? So Jen, give us a thought about how people could be able to help, on the traditional Operation Holiday Cheer, which is those packages that we're talking about, and what's the scope of the work this time around?
I know. I think that people are going to probably still continue to be confused as to what we're doing. But because of COVID, everything has changed this year. We had the one mission, and now it's split into two. We do need that money. It's like having two children, but you have to take care of them for different reasons. But they're both equally important. We need the money for the Military Relief Fund. We need it, hands down. There's no questions asked about that. The demand is higher than ever. COVID has placed financial restrictions on many families, and the hardships are compounding as the months go on. But as far as we're concerned with the care packages, we know that people are very disappointed. We've already heard from several children and families that are accustomed to coming every year. And we just can't do it this year. COVID restrictions, we will be following everything to a T on the date. So the date is Saturday, November 21st. We have a flyer out. I don't know if Ben has it or not, of the wish list of things that should go in the care package. It's a smaller box this year. They will be filled very quickly. We only anticipate about 100. I think we might max out at 150 care packages because we don't have the Guard deployed this year. So what we're looking for is if you know somebody who's in the Navy, you're in the Army, you're in the Air Force, you're in the Coast Guard, Space Force, whoever is in, can't forget those little Marines. They get very angry and eat their corn. It's one of those things where most people think active duty means deployed. It doesn't. Active duty means that you joined full time. So you're one of those people that went for 4 years, 6 years, or you're like my son who signed up for 20. So sending the care packages, we're sending them to anyone who's stationed outside of the state during the holidays. And that includes the deployed. People think that we're discluding them. No, they are very much in there. Anybody who's not going to be in Rhode Island, the flyer. Anybody who's not going to be in Rhode Island during the holidays, no matter where they're stationed, whether they're deployed or on base in California, they're getting a box. So if you know somebody who's Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, or Space Force, that's never going to get old. We're never going to get used to saying it. But we need those addresses sent in. So if you don't feel secure sending them to us, by all means, send it to Tabitha at the Lieutenant Governor's office, and she will put it in the spreadsheet and make sure that they get the box.
Yeah, there's many ways that you can connect in. You can connect in, with Jen through, with the information that's on that flyer that we can put up, Ben, and also our office. You can call 222-2371. We set up a special email address for particularly the COVID related issues. So it's ltgov20@gmail.com. We're looking at that every day because, we've asked people to communicate us there because there's a special Gmail that we can know that this is related to the COVID and the impact that the pandemic has had on our economy and it's having on our military families, right? So, I've always said this, 39 cities and towns, everyone's important, and the communities that make up those communities are important. Today, we're talking about a very, very important community in terms of the service, those who are active duty, and those who are, we want to make sure that we get this Rhode Island care package too. So it's going to be a smaller box, like you said, but the information in there is going to ring Rhode Island, right? It's going to be Rhodey red there. It's
all of the heart
Ocean
will still
State.
be in the box. The box is just smaller.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that we'll do that, and we'll before we leave today's broadcast here, we'll get more information up there. Christina, I wanted to go back to you a little bit about the fact that the National Guard. I've been reading, and people have been informing me. 500 people were activated. Almost 500 National Guard members have been activated. Tell us a little bit about what they've been doing. Open up the hospitals, the the testing that's going on, the contact tracing that's going on, and just in general, what the National Guard is doing to keep our state safe right now.
Yes, the National Guard has been pivotal to helping the governor keep our and tested and getting back to school and trying to have some sort of new normal where we can still be Rhode Islanders. They have set up many testing sites. They have also helped set up the alternate hospital sites that we had at our peak. That was so crucial to our safety. They are currently assisting the Secretary of State with our elections mission. They continue to test today and will continue to work with the governor in assisting in any kind of civil rest so that we are safe in our communities. They also were helping with the contact tracing, and they will do anything to help make Rhode Island safe.
Yeah, I think so what I read was, I think, close to 8 million tests right now that they've had a hand in terms of the testing. And like you're talking about in our election process right now, it's a different election process because of the nature of the COVID. So they're stepping up there to make sure that those elections are, working with our Secretary Gobert to make sure that those elections are safe and sound, and everybody gets a vote that wants to vote. So, I mean, the National Guard is, when I chaired the National Lieutenant Governors Association a few years back. So I've been involved with that organization. And I can tell you that some of the meetings, because it's just, as we said, Lieutenant Governor Fogarty, implemented some of the ideas actually that he got passed through the National Lieutenant Governors Association with this COVID, with this relief fund and the Operation Holiday Cheer. That was discussed in some of those meetings as we look up the past, history. But I can tell you this, Christina, and you can pass this along to, as I had to the, Adjutant General and the whole staff there, the Family Service Program Director there with the Lieutenant Colonel Sharon Harmon and others. When they speak about the National Guard in Rhode Island, they speak like that is the top of the line. It is the top of the line. I can tell you that right from experience, coming from many of our, many of the people who are giving presentations about active duty, about the military, whether it doesn't matter what division they're talking about, what armed service they're talking about. They speak very highly of our National Guard, and we're seeing that right now. Right?
They should.
We are super proud of our soldiers.
Yeah, we need to be, and that's why we want to make sure that we help their families, right, with this family relief fund. Many of the National Guard who was activated, they may still be based here in Rhode Island, but they're working full time as a National Guard on their service, and many of them have had to take a leave from their jobs and the income that their jobs provide for their families.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, I want to just kind of reinforce the idea of how to donate. You're seeing that scroll across the bottom of your screen. You can go to our Lieutenant Governor site, and there's a good tab right there. But if you want to go directly, you go to ltgov.ri.gov/MFRF/, and so that will get you to right to the site where you can make a donation. I made my donation earlier today. It's simple, it's painless, and it's protected. And it's also a tax deductible, donation. And we want to make sure that we're getting these numbers up because of just what Christina and I just talked about with Jen. We have many active duty that are active right now that need to get these packages, to keep their spirits alive, and they also need the refund. I guess we just got a little notice from Andrea that we're $15 away from getting to the 10,000. That means we've had $400 or $500 donated just alone on this call. Just on this call alone. So
well, those servicemen, they run towards the danger. When we were staying home and being safe, they were in the airports and making sure that people that were coming in were aware of what was going on and what needed to be done. When we were trying to get schools started with the testing and K through 12, we want to get our schools back. They were out there making sure that we did the best that we could to get our kids back into school, making sure that everybody was safe and tested and getting back to our normal.
Yeah, so we've got a few more minutes. I think that I just want to continue the reinforcement on the Operation Holiday Cheer, and what an honor it's been to be able to participate. We've had many sponsors. We're recontacting those sponsors today to donate, and we're saying certainly donate to the to Family Relief Fund, but also if they want to make a designated donation of product or money, because like Jen was talking about, Jen, you're gonna find out where you are on the supply chain, and then you're going to use some of the funds that we've been able to collect in the past or even this year to go out and fill those boxes, right? So just explain that one more time. You mentioned that earlier in our talk, but reinforce that in terms of how you're going to pull off this this tradition in a time when we're not going to put 300, 400 people together on a weekend. We're not going to do it. We're going to make sure that we're staying safe. We're going to wear the mask, but we're not going to do this work, right?
Correct. It was one of those things that I was not in a place where the thought had even crossed my mind that we were going to let it go. It was getting done no matter what. But we will follow the rules to a T. However it needs to get done, it will get done as safe as possible. We want people to know that they can drive up with donations, see whatever they want to see, make collections from the flyer, see on the flyer, make the collections and drop them off on Saturday. We've got our usual little team of guys that will be taking the donations from the trunks. You just pop your trunk, they'll take it out of the car for you, and they will bring it in to us. And we will have some of the moms inside sorting as it comes in. It's just like putting away groceries. They will put it all together so that everybody gets the gum, everybody gets the granola bars, everybody's going to get everything. And as that happens, we'll be super excited to see the line of cars. We need this now more than ever. People take for granted, like she said, we were safe in our homes. I understand that a lot of people were very upset as COVID became a big thing worldwide I'll use the Guard being stationed at the borders, let's say off 95. We had hordes of New Yorkers fleeing the city. So it seemed like all of a sudden overnight we were living in this police state, but they were making sure that these people weren't taking up residence in their beach houses. And coming here without doctors and possibly being sick. These things all needed to be tested, and our sons and daughters left their normal jobs where they were making good money, and now they're on active status. They were all activated, put in this dangerous situation that none of us had any idea what was going to happen, not just from day to day, but frankly, hour to hour, as the whole thing built over a month and a half. Every day seemed to be more dangerous than the last. And the Rhode Island Guard stepped up in a way that I don't think anybody would sign up for.
Yep.
But there they were doing it and kicking butt while they were at it. And that's why the funds in the emergency fund had been so depleted, because they went from making really good money at their normal jobs. Some of them worked 2 jobs. And now they're just making Guard money, working extended hours. Not seeing their families, and they needed the emergency help. And then on top of it, we've got the kids that are active.
Those kids, we gotta love those kids.
Those grown adults, yes. The kids are activated. I mean, they're active duty. Let's say they were stationed in Italy. We had some of our kids.
Oh, like that. We just got a little over $10,000. So that's a good. Thank you for the people who are out there and listening to us share that information. Go ahead in Italy. What?
Let money flow.
Yes.
Well, we had people in subs, and we had people over in Italy when all hell was breaking loose over in Italy. We had several aircraft carriers stationed over there. We had kids that were on bases on the mainland, and now you're dealing with them being Middle East adjacent. On top of that, now we've got COVID.
Yes,
So while we do have to take care of the Guard that were here and gave up their normal lives, to do the jobs that we needed done that frankly none of us wanted to do. We still have to take care of the active duty that now more than ever they need that box of love. They need it.
That box, and part of that is Rhode Island. So if you're out there and you got small things, but that can be a reminder of Rhode Island, and you want to make those donations. I know that one jewelry company, provided these bracelets at one time, and that was quite a donation. But there are things that are Rhode Island made that say this is Rhode Island. This is that. So if you're out there and you're making those type of things and you want to add something special to the boxes, please let us know, because let me tell you. I'll just go back. I'll repeat. When we have our press conferences and we bring in people who have received, men and women who have served or are currently serving, and they talk about what that means to them when they get that package, and the letters that I receive, our office received, to my office, is to me right now. It was to Charlie Fogarty when he was there, and the other lieutenant governors that followed Charlie. But what we receive in our office, I'm telling you, that makes their day, and they also share that with the other people that are in their divisions, right?
Yeah.
That they're serving with, that come from other parts of the country, and those people say, "Boy, those people in Rhode Island really care about you."
Yeah, because they're not getting the same thing from their state.
No, they're not. They're not. So I would just make a special plea, and we're going to put a little, through our small business coalition. You saw Justin already say, because he helped with this mask that we're going to do, and that's another reminder
that really nice mask.
Yes, that's a reminder that our safety measures are going to impact our active duty, and so, like you said, they're out on the front lines. They're front line people working directly with the virus in a way that keep us safe. So the safer we keep our state, the safer we keep our men and women who are serving here in Rhode Island and beyond. So. But yeah, I'm going to make a plea to our small business coalition on this to come up with some ideas that, as you say, it's a smaller package, but we can make that a lot of love in that package, right?
That's a lot of love and a gigantic hug in every box.
Yeah, so that's great, Jen. And so, I'm just going to go back to Christina, and then we'll finish it up. But this is great that you've been able to explain what we're doing, and it's going to help, before, thousands of people this broadcast is reaching, because we've been doing it every week, talking about really important things that are happening in our state. And one of them has been the small business, but I'm going to go back to our small business coalition and ask them to, put their thinking hats on and how they can make this a special event for the Blue Star Moms that you're leading this year, and make that as special as we can. And then, of course, with what Christina is working on with the Military Relief Fund, we want to make sure that we can do both. We can make both special.
You will, yes.
We can make both special, and we can see whether we can make that happen. Christina, do you have any last type of words in terms of how people can contact about either you and we got our information there, but contacting you or the state family programs that operates now out of Cranston, right? Give us a little idea, and then Jen, I'm gonna come back to you and give us the key dates that you're trying to hit right now. Okay, the key dates that you need. Christina, if you're there, give us the information that people need to make contact with you if they want to. Either we talked about applying, for the grants that you provide and the resources. But what about if you wanted to, participate in donating? Kind of give an overview of what's your best avenue to do that.
Well, the location is at the CRC, and if they do need any assistance, they can call. I believe the number is 275-1241.
And that's located. It's right across from where the DMV is right now, right in Cranston, right?
Yes, the CRC is the Command Readiness Center.
Yes, and that's where we convene when there's a snowstorm or there's a hurricane, and everybody comes in. And I got another thing that we say, hey, we need your help, National Guard. We need your help, and they're always there to respond. They're unbelievable.
Oh yes, when we had the National Grid had that outage, we were helping the people with complete shutdown. They had nothing out. So they stand up whenever it's necessary. The military relief fund is 100% goes to the soldiers.
Yes.
There's no
100%.
like in other donation situations. 100%. There isn't any kind of administrative fee, and nobody gets any kind of a cut. It all goes to the soldiers.
Yeah, and that's what is so great about that executive board that's been put together. I know that there's representation from all of the, the armed service, from the different military divisions, and there's, of course, your office is there, and the family programs, state family programs out of the, that Lieutenant Colonel Sharon Harmon is, directing, leading there. So, yeah, that's what's so remarkable about it. All volunteers. Even on that executive board, I get to assign somebody from my office there, which I have my chief of staff, Tony Silva, who was, when I was a mayor, he was my chief of police, and he's gone on to run the police training program at CCRI for a number of years. So his heart's in the service, the people who are providing that public service that is extraordinary, in terms of our policing, but also in terms of our National Guard. And what I'm glad you mentioned that, the outage and the hurricanes, because this issues that we're dealing with the COVID, with 500 active duty, with our National Guard. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get a snowstorm or an outage or all the other things that they bring to the table, or they may very well be deployed if in fact they need it. We were, I think, the second most deployed unit in the country, and so we've been everywhere. And as Jen said earlier, we don't say where we are, but we're out there protecting the people of Rhode Island, the people of the United States, in a real significant way. So if you need information, call our office, 222-2371. Go to our website. You just Google Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. You'll come right to our website. We've got a prominent tag there. You can make your donation right there. Individuals can make the donation, and also businesses can make the donations, and they're tax deductible. Jen, give us the key dates that you're looking on right now to kind of make sure that people are responding.
So if you want to pick things off of the flyer to buy and donate, you need to do that by November 21st. It's a Saturday. We will be doing drop-offs. I believe the time is 8 to 11. Outside, contact-free. You just pop your trunk and the guys will take it off. Thank you, Ben. If you want to donate to us, for whatever reason you don't want to go to the store or whatever, you can donate to us, send a check. We don't have our PayPal hooked up. We have not quite caught on to the whole technology thing. I'm still a pen and paper girl. So.
Well, we'll help you do that, Jen. We'll make sure that that's up and running.
You can give us a donation, and we will then run out and buy what we know needs to go in the box.
Yes.
But I want to say, as far as small business goes, if you think your $100 isn't going to go far and you're a small business, but a big business would donate $1,000. If we had 10 small businesses, each donate $100 to the relief fund, that's $1,000. That's big. Rhode Island is made up of so many small companies. There's no reason why we can't hit the $50,000 goal.
Yeah, so that's good. So we're going to keep on reinforce those deadlines, and as we get closer to Thanksgiving, we'll use these broadcasts to give people updates. And as far as the military relief fund, we've opened that up through now to the end of the year, right through the Christmas season. So we'll be back talking about that as well, Christina. But we need to get a good jump start, and it looks as though we got a really good jump start in the first 10 days of the effort. We're raising $1,000 a day. So if we keep that pace up, we'll get past that $50,000 goal, and those families
still need it.
Yes, they're going to need it. And as I just mentioned, and I want that's why we need to protect ourselves safety wise, and do the right things. Open up our state. I'm an advocate for the most flexibility we can get with these small businesses. Yeah. But we're facing a dilemma right now because we've got a spike going on, and we may be using those hospitals that the National Guard set up if we're not really careful, and we don't want to. The prevention is the most important thing that I've learned. Yeah. Let's be preventative. We don't know what we prevent by following good practices, good science practices. So let's all do that. we know the need's going to be there on both. One of my favorite pitches every year. To be able to go in and thank you for welcoming me in to for that stocking ceremony. I can't wait till next year to do that in full force. But for this year, we're going to make this happen, Jen. We're going to make this happen, and it's going to be with all this help from everybody out there that supports your kids. That who supports your kids.
Flexibility is the key word this year.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of hearing the new normal. We've heard it so much, it's become like a bad word for me.
Yes.
But flexibility, it's all we've got.
Yes.
This whole situation is unprecedented. We're all winging it. None of us know what to do. The plan will probably change from day to day as restrictions come and go, but we're going to get it done. Bottom line.
Yeah, and as you said, Tabitha in our office has been a champion for this project since she's been working with us. So you can call our office as well. And looks like we're doing about a little over 1,600 a day since we announced at the press conference to an empty room, Jen. But that's okay. We're going to be flexible. We're going to make it work, except for Ben. Ben was there. And Christina, so that's good news that we hit over the 10,000, and we're going to stay in contact with you in ways that we can, really help that relief fund and the families that serve. Those families serve just like the men and women who are out there protecting our freedom with their, with their service. So thank you so much for being here tonight, both of you. I appreciate taking the time. Yeah, you got it. We're going to make this happen.
Yes,
thanks, guys. Yes. Yeah. So. That wraps up. We want to just focus on that one thing, that Operation Holiday Cheer. I can't give Charlie Fogarty enough kudos for having the foresight to actually put that in place. And that relief fund this year is as important as any year since 2004, since it was established. And of course, the Operation Holiday Cheer. The benefit of sending those packages, I can just tell you, the people who were involved with volunteering this year, we certainly can have you, volunteer through a virtual way as well, and we'll try to make that happen. We know that the schools who did the cards, we got to make sure that they know that their efforts were appreciated. All the volunteers that reviewed the cards or put the Dell's Lemonade or the local Beacon or the Valley Breeze, our local newspapers in the boxes, and I can't say enough of them, and we're not forgetting that. So we want to make sure that if you're out there listening and you have been a past volunteer and you want to participate in any way this year, call our office. We'll make sure that you'll have a role that that you're saying thank you to the men and women who serve us. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave my comments. I'll be back on Tuesday at noontime. We continue doing our 39 small business grant tour. But every time that we're going to speak on, that I get a chance to talk about both the Rhode Island Military Relief Fund and the Operation Holiday Cheer, which is our annual event. We're going to do that, and we're going to make this successful, and we're going to show our families of the men and women who serve us and the men and women who are active duty and that serve us every day our appreciation, and we're going to make sure we do that in a big way. And with your help, we're going to make that happen. So contact us, and if you have any ideas how to even make it even a little better than what we have right now, please show up, give us a call. And in the meantime, let's stay safe, and we thank Justin for the Military Family Relief Fund mask here, and I'll be wearing that around the state. You'll see me, and we'll talk about this. Good night, everybody. Thanks.